We honour the First Peoples of Australia, their unbroken ties to Aboriginal law, culture and customs. We respect the traditional owners of the lands and waters we inhabit and acknowledge their elders past and present. We celebrate the enrichment of Aboriginal communities around Australia. We recognise the lasting impact of colonisation and dispossession. We salute those who have fought for the rights of First Peoples. Their legacy is our guiding light today and always.
I can't take it anymore!
Good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtstars, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the new Blurt.
You absolutely are listening to the new Blurt. Good afternoon, evening, or morning, or wherever you may be listening to this, in your car, on the way to the gym, on the way to the movies, just chilling somewhere. Enjoy. Tonight I'm coming to you from a Wurundjeri country, the Kulin Nation of the Wurundjeri people. Sovereignty was never ceded, always has been, and always will be Aboriginal land. You are listening to the host of the new Blurt, Keely, aka the Kegsta, and tonight we have a magnificent show for you. So just on the rundown on Blurt Around the World, which is basically where Wencee and I talk about stuff that's happening around the world. We've got satellite data shows urban growth trends over the past 30 years. The Bangladeshi Prime Minister just up and quit, and we're going to find out why. We're showing the cost of living crisis by using a Big Mac. Wencee will be doing that. And why did the tortoise cross the highway? No, it's not a joke. It's actually real, and we'll find out what that's all about. Trump Watch is on tonight, and I will be chatting about the no stopping Trumps Pornstar hush money case. That will be going ahead. Absolutely, it will. It's gone to the Supreme Court, and we will have a bit more information on that one. Then on great people that did stuff tonight, we've got fantastic people on that show. We always do, but tonight, actually, in particular, very, very special people. One is MacKenzie Scott. If you don't know who she is, you will soon. And Amal Clooney, both incredible, incredible women, and we're very happy to bring you them from the new Blurt, and it'd be great if you don't know much about them to find out about them, because they've done some amazing things for the world. Then on Sports of All Sorts tonight, it's all about the Paris Olympics 2024. Wencee will blurt about the pole vaulter and that other pole, and just while I'm talking, as my name says there, and I will talk about kayak cross, the best Olympic sport you've probably never heard of or never been following, but it's a pretty cool sport, and it looks like the Australian women in particular are doing very well in it. So that's your show. We're about to crack on. Before we do this every week, and we must do it because it is absolutely worth doing. And good evening. Wencee!
Woo! Thanks, everyone. Love your work. Love your work. Before I do get started, I do want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Jagera and Turrbal people, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. And sovereignty was never ceded.
No, it absolutely, definitely was not. Look, we've got so much on the show tonight, Wencee. I think we have to just get stuck right in.
Yes, I think we should.
Just before I do that, two things. Before I do that, I'd just like to say thank you for all that listen to the show and watch the show. We're up to nearly 11,000 downloads now. For us, that is a pretty big milestone. And we've had some nice increase over the last few months. So if you have been listening, we really appreciate it. And if you've got any ideas or any suggestions, the blurtstar@gmail.com. I think that's right, isn't it? Blurtstar@gmail.com.
Yes.
Correct. And we're on Instagram, the new Blurt, and we're on Twitter, and we are on Threads. And if you're watching, you can see all the stuff we're on. Yeah, we're on Spoutable, everything. Why the hell we're on Blue Sky, I'll never know. But anyway,
I don't know. It was the trend.
We are.
Yeah. And if you are watching live, leave us a comment, interact. Happy to answer questions while you're online. So, yep, please do.
Yes, absolutely. That's 100% true. Yes, for sure. And the other thing that I wanted to say, in the very recent, in the near future, we will have a representative from Movember on the show, which will be pretty cool. They'll talk to us about what Movember is, how long it's been going for, what they're trying to raise awareness and money for this year, etc., etc. So that'll be something good to look forward to. But before we do any of that, as Wencee has told me very politely, I need to do this.
Yep, not hearing anything.
No, probably not. You will in a minute, I think.
Around the world. Around the world.
Around the world.
So, Wencee, satellite data shows urban growth trends over the past 30 years. What's that all about?
Well, what's it about? There's been a study coming out of the University of New Hampshire that used just over 30 years worth of satellite imagery of urban sprawl across 1,000 cities around the world, and just showing you in the graphical format how things have changed in certain cities, especially the bigger cities. So I'll just quickly show you one of those images.
Oh, show and tell. Nice.
Yes. If I can find it in here. Is that? Nope, not that one. It's in one of these tabs. It's a problem when you have too many tabs open on your browser.
Yes, it is a real issue. I struggle every day with it. 110 tabs plus, probably not a good way to go.
Yeah, that is so true. I know that. Mine can sometimes be double or triple that, but
what are we looking at, my friend?
Okay, so
as we've discussed before, it's not how big it is. Now, come on.
No, it's how the data is used. So here, here we can see 3 different columns of satellite images of different cities. And on the left, you can see those cities. Dhaka in, I can't remember which African country. You might know, Kegsta.
Where are we?
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so top line is Dhaka, just there.
Yes.
Then there's Delhi, Cairo, Ho Chi Minh City, which is a city I've been to.
Cairo's Egypt, isn't it? So.
Correct. Beijing, Seoul, Lagos, and Tehran. So what these colors show is the urban sprawl over the last 30 years based off satellite images to track development, I guess, in those cities. And the darker the blue color, or the magenta, is that magenta? The quicker,
the bluey,
the dark blue. Yeah, so you can see in Dhaka, which 30 years ago wasn't very built up and was building slowly. You can see by the light-colored pinks.
Yes.
And then in the mid or early 2000s, it's getting a little bit bluer in the colors. And then in as little as 10, 15 years ago, it's gotten decidedly blue. So what that shows in this color scheme is that in that city, which has 25,500 people per square kilometers, that's quite dense.
That's pretty dense, yeah.
It is. That's showing that they've had to build upwards. So you can see the coloration. You can see coloration of the 3 squares there, that from left to right, they're roughly the same. They haven't really changed much.
Yeah.
So it just shows they're building up. Whereas if you look at city,
holy crap! Yeah.
So you look at Ho Chi Minh, it also was moving outward and slowly upwards, but it's actually grown a little bit in area as well as going up. And I've seen that firsthand, where pretty much all across the city of Ho Chi Minh or Saigon.
Is Ho Chi Minh? Is that Vietnam?
Yes, so in the south of Vietnam. So what I've seen is across all the city, doesn't matter where you look, where you travel in, you'll see dozens of high-rise buildings, 20, 30 stories high, usually at least 2 or 3, up to 4 or 6 even, all in one group.
Yeah.
Maybe spread out over a couple of blocks. So that just shows you that they've been building up. Obviously, roads are getting more congested because you're getting more people living in smaller spaces, which is why Delhi, Dhaka.
Is Singapore on this list? Because I mean, I've
Not
been to
on this
Singapore
list.
a few times, and that's exactly the same. I mean, basically, Singapore is just it's just a city full of sky rises. I mean, that's pretty much what Singapore is, and
Correct.
it's tiny. Like if you look at it on a map, it's like a ballpoint pen. It's that tiny. Compared to the rest of the world type thing, and the amount of money that goes through there and what their money's worth is pretty phenomenal. So, but
and you can see Beijing, how it's grown in area as well as density. So in the 90s it was the pinks, and then it's almost all blues, dark blues and dark magentas, which means it's growing outwards and upwards.
And upwards. Yeah. So what's Beijing got? 7.6 thousand per kilometre.
Per kilometre, square kilometre. Yeah.
So we are saying that Delhi and Dhaka are more dense with people than Beijing.
Yeah, and you would have thought that Beijing would be even more, but no, it's not as dense as you'd expect. But
no,
China's obviously got dozens and dozens of cities that are like that, not just 1 or 2.
They've got a few. What do they call them? They call them satellite cities or mega cities or something. I think
mega cities would be probably what they're called. Each one, you got Shanghai.
I think it's over 10 million or over 20 million or something for a mega city. I think something like that. Wuhan was a mega city.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, which is absolutely amazing, because I imagine if you're you might not be, you might have known, but before the COVID, I'd never even heard of Wuhan, and it was over 10 million people living there. So, it's crazy how huge it is. That's quite fascinating.
I thought interesting, and how they're using science and satellite images to get that information. But that's quite
it's all about the data, as you so rightly say.
Exactly.
All about the data.
That's a bit too zoomed in. So I'll have that in the show notes as usual. You can read up more on the story, and I'll even put the URL for the actual study that has even more information.
Oh, excellent. No, that'd be perfect. Something isn't quite so perfect. The Bangladeshi Prime Minister has resigned just recently. Sheikh Hasina, she resigned after weeks of violent protests, and she fled Bangladesh on August the 5th. And the reason that she did that was because there was violent protests against what they call the quota system for jobs in Bangladesh. And I'll explain what that is in a minute. So they escalated. There was a peaceful protest just happening, and then they escalated into a broader movement against Hasina's leadership, and then it just all went downhill after that sort of thing. Nearly 300 people killed. Demonstrators stormed and looted her official residence. So, they obviously don't like her very much at all. Now, she had really good relationships with China and with Russia. So it gives you a little bit of...
Not good company. Not in our eyes.
No, definitely not. She was an absolute autocrat. So her leadership was criticised for authoritarian tendencies. And this is what I want to talk about. So she's come back. The military have come back and said, the military promised to investigate the deadly crackdown. Oh, yeah, that's going to go well. The shoot-on-site curfew was imposed during the protests. Lovely.
Jeez. Wow, nice.
The 11,000 people were arrested. Schools were closed. The army expected to oversee the transition to an interim government. That's always a good sign when the army's doing that. Always a good sign. So the reason that the students were the quota system, the reason that they were protesting against it is in Bangladesh, there was a policy that reserves significant percentage of government jobs for certain groups. So the idea was it was meant to be like a diversity and equity sort of situation.
Yeah.
And the way that they were using it was that the descendants of the veterans of the Bangladesh's 1971 War of Independence, women and ethnic minorities, they were meant to get like a sort of a preferential sort of treatment to be able to get jobs in the government. So it sort of started off the right way. But as many of these things do, and unfortunately in some of the South Asian countries in particular, where it's not so democratic at times, it's been sort of corrupted a bit over the years. And so what's happened is the opportunities that were there have now sort of turned into controversy and criticism over the quota system. And what's happened is the connections to the ruling Awami League Party are benefiting, are being benefited from. So all these sort of descendants of this League Party are getting jobs. So jobs for boys and girls, if you like, rather than marginalized communities, etc., where it's sort of meant to be. So they've claimed that limited opportunities for qualified candidates who did not belong to those particular favoured groups. So obviously creating a barrier to merit-based employment in government positions. So yeah, so they got pretty pissed off, and then they have protested, and now it's turned into gun violence, usually started by the military in these sort of situations. So I mean, Bangladeshi have been sort of, I mean, they've had sort of unrest for a long time.
Yeah, and she'd been ruling for how long? 25 years or something?
Yes, something like that. Yeah, you're spot on. 100%
and her
right.
father was one of the initial president or prime ministers. I'm not sure what term they use there. After
it is prime minister. Yeah, it is prime minister. Yeah.
After independence. So there was that nepotism that continued by the sounds of it. But what got me the most was she just ran away from the whole situation and just flew to England. Escaped the whole thing, and
she absolutely did.
Rather than face the music, she's chickened out and just run away.
And she's resigned and everything. I find it pretty distasteful that the UK would just take her in. Because I mean, as I say, she's an autocrat. Why would they be doing that when Keir Starmer's just taken over? I mean, that makes no sense to me. So
she's I know she's got family there in America and many other parts of the world. So who knows how she got into the country based on family? Again, she is a ruling, or was a leader of a country, so they must have special exemption.
Maybe there's extradition treaties for leaders of countries that aren't complete bastards. I don't know.
Doesn't make sense, but
no, I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure. The other thing that never makes sense is the love of McDonald's. And apparently there's a cost of living crisis there, apparently.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to tell you about McDonald's. I had it the other week. I had a fillet of fish. I hadn't had one for a really long time. No, it was late. It was late. I was hungry. I had a couple of beers, whatever, and I really I felt
excuses. That's all I'm hearing.
That's right. That's exactly right. I'm sticking to them. So anyway, I went in there and I had it, and I was like, this is totally shit. I was just like, I am not having this again. This was so bad.
Oh dear.
It was like they didn't even care. There was no care put in my bun whatsoever. If there was any sauce in there, what do they call that? Not soy sauce, was it?
Special sauce?
No. Yeah, that. Yeah, tartare. If there was any tartare sauce in there, I couldn't find it. And it was terrible. It was dry. It was lifeless. No.
How many times on this show have I said that I haven't gone to one of those places for not only because of the taste and just the low quality, but also their practices and things like that. Like you're saying, there's no care, and I don't like their corporate greed either. But
you are right. You are right. But talking about corporate greed. Cost of living crisis.
Cost of living crisis. Yeah, I came across this.
What's going
came
on?
across this story, and they were just trying to correlate the price of a Big Mac with the cost of living here in Australia. Where is that page? There it is. Okay, I'm going to do another show and tell. All right. Can you see the spinning burger?
Oh.
Can you see that? Yep. Okay. I can see it there. Okay. So this article goes through the price rise of the Big Mac over the last 7 years. So we can see here that 7 years ago, pretty much a Big Mac used to cost $5.80. I think the last time I had a Big Mac, it was under $5, maybe $4 for a Big Mac. So I'm going back 20, 25 years ago almost.
2017. Okay. How much are they
We'll
now?
get to that. We'll get to that.
How much are they now?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Right. Go for it.
So the what was I going to say? Yeah, so quite often people compare prices around the world. There's usually two things that I hear quite often: price of a Big Mac, because it's almost universal, and the price of an iPhone.
Yeah.
Worldwide. So you go,
Really?
okay, which
I've heard the
comes more
iPhone. I haven't
expensive?
heard the iPhone one.
Yeah, and I've heard the
I'm
iPhone
obviously
and
not
the
rich
Big Mac.
enough to
No.
put in the iPhone cost of living sort of things.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so 7 years ago,
Big Mac side.
So Big Mac was $5.80. As we scroll through time, it goes up and up and up.
Yeah, what we got? Yeah.
So this is still pre-COVID. And
yeah, okay.
Just before
Holy
COVID,
crap!
it's gone up to $6.50. So it was already going up. So this is all
What was that massive jump? What was that massive jump? What one's that one? Yeah, the one before that. That's a big jump.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Doesn't quite
So
say, but it was already
$6.15. $6.15 to $2.19. Yeah. So what's that one?
Don't know. That's just over $6.50. So in the space of a year, it's gone up about 70, 80 cents per burger. So it was a big jump.
Yeah.
Relatively.
Big jump.
And then COVID hits.
Graph it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, came down.
Then COVID hits, goes down in price as a lot of things went down. Goes down for the next 2 years. Did have a little spike, but for around 2 years, price went down. But then,
oh my God! Wow!
Things start to open up again, and it goes up even more. Keeps going up. That's 2022. It's now at about $6.80, I think, or thereabouts.
Wow!
Inflation coming up. Here we go. By this year, it's nearly $8. Yeah. So some of the things that they talk about in this story, it does go up, doesn't it? So here's the chart of the percentage changes. So you can see the 2 years of COVID. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It goes up, but goes down during COVID. If we keep scrolling down. So then they start comparing, okay, what's caused the increase in the Big Mac? So we saw the price fluctuate. Then they put the price of bread.
Yeah.
Correlates very closely to the price of the burger. They then put the price of cheese, roughly the same. So you can see, okay, yeah, that explains it. What else is next? Electricity. Not quite the same, but sort of similar trajectory. Does go up and down, but similar graph.
Definitely went down at one stage, didn't it?
Yeah. Beef and price of beef and veal had no correlation at all with the price variation.
That's gone right down.
Yeah. So at the moment it's super
that's most of the burger. That's most of the burger.
Exactly.
So this is bullshit. They are ripping people off blind.
Mm-hmm. But wait, there's more. Okay, so ingredients and electricity and utilities, but then there's the price of salaries have to be included, and that hasn't gone up much. That's been fairly stable.
No.
What else?
I would have bet money that hadn't gone up.
Yeah. Minimum wage, obviously, here in Australia, because most workers there are
that wouldn't have moved.
Young. Yeah, wouldn't have moved.
Pretty much.
So the other thing that's gone up is, or not gone up, is the McDonald's Australia profits. So up until COVID, profits were quite high. During COVID, as we can imagine, profits would have gone down because restaurants were shut. People weren't ordering. So cost. So they had to shut down, and who knows what other fees they were incurring while things were shut down. But sales were going up even during COVID. So how can sales go up, but profits go down? One of the reasons is the royalty fees. So every McDonald's franchise has to pay some money that goes back to headquarters in the US, and that is what has.
Oh, sorry, I apologize. So you were saying about the franchises themselves were losing money. You weren't talking about the people that own the leases of all the franchises that these people have to pay all the time.
Yeah, so McDonald's franchisees were probably still making money, but their profits were nowhere near as much because the royalty fees that go back overseas. This
increase.
What color is this? Red. The red line here in this graph has actually gone up.
Gone through
whereas
the roof.
So in that period of time, it's actually gone up. So they're making less money. And so the
we know why though? Do we know why the royalty fees why have they gone up?
What do they call it in that article? They did give it a name. It's some sort of, it's like intellectual property is what they called it.
Oh,
which
okay.
Doesn't make
so
sense.
They reckon
We're talking about hamburgers, but
so they're saying the percentage of the increase of the IP has gone up 10 times compared to the actual profits that the person at the franchise is making. That's ridiculous.
Correct. It is, isn't it?
It's
pretty sad, isn't it?
Talking about a capital society, that's ridiculous.
So this is one of the issues with potentially corporate greed, where even though sales may seem same or they're going up, inflation is being caused by corporate greed or other things. There's lots of inquiries going around in Parliament at the moment. So I think this is where this has come from. They're just trying to compare one market or one piece of the market here in Australia. But there's lots of reasons why inflation's gone up over the last 3, 4, 5 years. So I thought that was interesting how they compared it to a Big Mac. And
it is interesting, but what's even more interesting is that the opposition try to blame the government for that. It's not the government. That's not the government's fault. The government's got nothing to do with that whatsoever.
It's got nothing to do with it. Exactly.
And most of the inflation we're getting now has nothing to do with the government either. It's got to do with heaps of companies that are making profits. But I know
quite
that
often they're multinationals that aren't even in this country.
No, exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. But just yesterday, the stock market took a bit of a hit. So that's been interesting. I haven't looked today to see if it's sort of recovered from its
it did bounce back a little bit. It's all due to fears of a recession in the US because their market's not too strong at the moment. But hopefully it doesn't go into recession, which then affects the rest of the world.
Well, you see, this is where sentiment in markets gets go and fuck themselves, basically, because this is bullshit. It's rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got unemployment in the States lower than it's ever been. You've got jobs, heaps of jobs being created in that economy at the moment. Far more jobs than had been in the last, definitely the last Orange Head administration. They've got lots of good figures. Inflation is basically at a zero at the moment. Things might have gone up before, but eventually they'll start coming down. But the inflation there is very low at the moment. So from an economical point of view, that country right now is in a really good spot. So why the hell people think it's going to go into recession? I just don't get it. I don't understand. I don't
too complicated for my little brain.
I don't know what figures they are watching or reading that I'm not seeing. I don't get that. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
But far away from figures and all the rest of it, we are going to talk to Bowser. This is Bowser.
Ooh, Bowser. Bowser, as in Mario Kart?
Well, I imagine so. That's probably who they named him after, I assume. Yeah, I would imagine you're right. So Bowser is a tortoise, and he went missing from his owner's home, and he turned up 2 days later on the other side of the busy interstate highway. Jeez. This highway is like a 3 or 4 or 5 lane highway. Jeez. And I know, tell me about it. And he got to the other side in one piece, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The Portland Police Bureau said that members of the East Precinct Neighbourhood Response Team were an unrelated assignment when they encountered the tortoise on the multi-use path along the west side of Interstate 205, north-southeast Flavel Street. Recognising that this may be a runaway pet, the officers caught up with the fugitive reptile, and the tortoise was apprehended after an extremely slow speed chase. And Multnomah County Animal Control was able to identify him as Bowser, reported missing 2 days earlier from a home. It's not clear where Bowser has been for the past 2 days or how he traversed the interstate freeway, but PPB is gratified that he's safe and sound and back home with his family, the Post said. So that is from UPI.com, and that is a great story. So,
it is. It lives to tell the tale by crossing the road. Maybe he encountered a hare along the way and raced it. Who knows?
Well, who knows? He did live to tell the tale, although he does not have one. So that is pretty damn fine.
When you give blood, you're more than just a blood donor. You're the lifeblood of Australia. Lifeblood today. Give life. Give blood.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
I forgot the rundown. Are we doing GPDS or are we doing
Trump Watch?
Oh, nicely done. See, that's why you keep me on the straight and narrow. Bad. That's so bad.
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
all right.
Here we go.
11,780 votes to win the election.
Well, that is the old Trump Watch. But I'm going to see if I can get the new Trump Watch. Just see if I can find it. See if I can find it. Oh, interesting. Dead air is always good.
Never great. But you can always cut that out for the podcast.
Yes, I will. I will do that. But here we go.
I'm so indicted, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to go to jail, and I don't like it. I'm so indicted, and I just can't hide it. I know. I am so screwed.
Yes, well, we are very much hoping that. Yes, we are very much hoping that is the case indeed. So this week, I have been doing a poll watch, but on this Trump Watch. I'm going to talk about something slightly different. But what I will say about the polls is that it was only 2 weeks ago that Biden's numbers were like 5%, 4% down in most of the swing states in the different polls. And within 2 weeks, Kamala Harris has basically got them back to even. It's like only 1% here and there. So
there's time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of time. And I've also got a little gift at the end of Trump Watch for Kamala fans as well. So, Wencee, are we going to have a banner for Trump Watch?
Yes, it's up there already.
Not seeing anything.
Yeah. Let me.
Sorry, our background change.
Oh, okay, right. I thought you were talking about the banner down the bottom. Okay.
No. So while you do that, I will talk about why the Supreme Court rejects Missouri's bid to halt Trump sentencing. So what's happened is, ever since the Supreme Court has delivered the immunity decision to Trump, the fact that he's meant to be immune from everything he did when he was president, pretty much most things anyway, meant to be official duties, but they sort of, wrap them into unofficial duties as well. Because this Supreme Court is pretty damn corrupt, especially Alito and Thomas. They're shockers. But anyway, believe it or not, they've actually done the right thing here, and they've rejected Missouri's bid to halt Trump's sentencing. So what happened was, on August the 5th, the U.S. Supreme Court denied Missouri's attempt to stop the upcoming sentencing of Donald Trump. And that upcoming sentencing is meant to be happening on September the 18th. As we know, he was convicted in New York on felony charges related to hush money payments made to a porn star. To be technical on that is not really why he was convicted. He was convicted because they were able to tag that to the fact that those payments were illegal payments with electoral funds, which that's where the illegality is. So really, the fact that it's called the porn star hush money trial is a bit of a furphy in a way, because it doesn't really explain why he was convicted of 34 felony accounts. Anyway, the court also left in place the related gag order until November the 5th, the presidential election. So that's pretty interesting.
Like you ever adheres to gag orders.
Yeah. Well, he is at the moment. Because he was getting fined quite a lot. And just apropos, just thinking, he still owes $450 million. I wonder when he's paying that. I wonder what happened. I'll have to do some research on that, see what's happening. But anyway, Missouri filed a lawsuit arguing that the case against Trump infringed on their constitutional rights as voters to hear from their preferred presidential candidate. The Missouri's Attorney General claimed the criminal case and gag order were attempts to interfere. Do you think he's an election denier, MAGA? Do you think? Maybe?
Wonder.
Oh, my God. Seriously. The Supreme Court's order was unsigned, with Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, two of the most corrupt judges they've ever had in history, indicating that they would have considered the case but would not grant additional relief. The court's decision to leave Trump's sentencing and gag order in place. So we already know the background of the case. If you don't, falsifying business records to hide $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels before the 2016 election. Trump denies the allegation, has vowed to appeal the conviction after his sentencing in September. But that appeal will not happen until after the election.
Right.
So there's no way that'll happen before then. So he will be convicted, and whatever happens, happens. So Missouri's lawsuit is part of the broader legal effort supported by other Republican-led /MAGA states. Also faces additional federal and state criminal charges related to his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. The Supreme Court's previous rulings have granted, this is what we said right at the top, Trump substantial immunity for actions taken while in office, which is just total and utter bullshit. But anyway, the next steps, the New York judge overseeing the case is expected to rule on Trump's appeal by September the 6th, with sentencing scheduled for September the 18th.
Right. Excellent.
If the conviction is upheld, which I think it probably will be, a recent New York State Appeals Court decision also upheld the gag order limiting Trump's ability to comment publicly on the case. So at the moment, he's in deep shit on that one, and he can't do much about it. And we will obviously follow that. And September 18th is the date that he's meant to be sentenced at this stage. But as it says there, September the 6th is sentencing for the appeal. Is the appeal. So that's probably the date we should look at first. Yeah, September the 6th.
So that's when they'll appeal.
Yeah, and then as soon as we know or don't know whether that goes through, hopefully it doesn't. Then it'll go to sentencing for September the 18th. So that's what we're hoping happens. That should be the course of normal law, but as we know, nothing is normal when it comes to Orange Head.
No,
but
sadly.
Very sadly. But something for Kamala fans. It's very, very quick. I know we're running out of time. It's very, very quick. But it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool rap by a lady called Rita Brent, and it's called Kamala. It's just called Kamala. But it's very good. So sit back, enjoy it, and I will just pop that up there.
And you rep a black woman made you. She reppin' AKs, I'm reppin' DST, but we are all the same. Call it Greek unity. She is my sister and I am her pusher. If it ain't black excellence, it is irrelevant. It's Kamala, not Kamala. Put some respect on her name. Past time to stop dissing black women. We be fighting villains just for existing. Like Obama, they wonder she all the way black. Graduated from Howard, forgot about that. Discrediting her record, no context of facts. Judging like you, God, need to fall back. Deflecting disrespect and ask yourself why. Do powerful women eat you up inside, huh? Why you wanna hate on Kay Harris? You the one mediocre, but you acting like she average. Your accomplishments amount to pay the Instagram spatting. Why she all up in the Senate spitting facts straight battling? Yeah. And now I ain't saying that she perfect, but I'm 1,000% that she worth it. Cause we cut from the same cloth. I'm historically black. We coming for it all. Yeah. The woman is formidable, unforgettable. Living history, our ancestors' wildest dreams. Taking a stand for men like you and me is not a decision I gotta contemplate. Kamala to make America great. Kamala to make America great. Kamala will make America great. Kamala will make America great. Kamala, ooh. I'm so lit, I don't know what I'ma do. Now that she running with Biden, I'm vibing. You mad and you act a black woman made you. She reppin' AKs, I'm reppin' DST, but we are all the same. Call it Greek unity. She is my sister and I am her pusher. If it ain't black excellence, it is irrelevant.
I thought that was pretty damn cool, I thought.
Yeah. It's hard to understand. She sings or raps so quickly.
Yes, I know, and plus we're old. So I don't know about you, but there's a lot of words in there that I don't get. It goes straight over my head. But I do like the beat.
Only the young people understand.
Cool. Jeez, I do sound like an old person.
Yes,
sound like
the beat was good.
Oh yes, I like the beat. Oh, I love the beat. It goes doom doom. Oh, I love it.
Hi, and welcome to Great People That Did Stuff.
Okay, so GPDTS, Great People That Did Stuff. I'm going to start off with Amal Clooney, famous surname, and you'll be right to think if it's related or if she's related to George Clooney. It is George's partner, and we're not going to talk about him because this is not about him. This is about her.
Good.
Good. Amal Clooney is a very famous, well-renowned British-Lebanese barrister, and she specializes in international law and human rights. She's been doing this for a very long time, well before she got together with Mr. Clooney. And yeah, talk about a power couple. These two are pretty
formidable.
Formidable, yeah, that's a good word actually. Yeah, so she's got the smarts. Not to say that he isn't, but she's done lots of work in international law, human rights, and criminal law for many big cases. I'll just rattle off a few. She had cases against ISIS, where she represented hundreds of Yazidi victims of the genocide and sexual slavery perpetrated by ISIS. This work contributed to bringing down some of the ISIS members for those crimes that they did in those committed. Correct. Thank you. English is my second language at the moment, so thank you for helping me out.
I know what it's like to have a vocabulary and just completely forget every single word that's in it. I get it.
No.
I understand.
I know. What else has she done? She's also gone to the defense of journalists. She helped a couple of Reuters journalists who were wrongfully convicted in Myanmar for reporting on the Rohingya crisis. The two journalists were Wa Lone and Kue Soe U.
Didn't she have something to do with Julian Assange as well?
Oh, that I don't know. I haven't come across that one yet. Possibly, might have to do some homework, but I don't remember seeing that name.
Oh, fair enough. I thought she did, but no, I could be 100% incorrect.
Yeah, I'm not sure. She's also gone into bat for Armenia during the Armenian genocide, supposed genocide. Depends on which country you're talking about, during World War One.
I like that. She's gone into bat for the whole country, not just one person, the whole country.
Exactly, for the whole country. Yeah. Where 1.5 million Armenians got slaughtered by the Turks. Nice. Obviously, the Turkish government says otherwise. But yeah, she's gone into...
What year was this? What year was that?
This was only maybe a decade or so ago that she did that court case.
Yeah.
But it was obviously related to World War One acts that were done in that war. Her most recent one was actually this year, that was quite famous, was you may remember the International Criminal Court, where they announced that Israel had committed crimes and things like that with the Gaza war.
Yes, she came out publicly about that, didn't she?
Correct. So she was working in it from the beginning, but very hidden until... that was all announced, and so she was one of the many legal experts on that panel who recommended that the ICC seek arrest warrants for Israelis, as well as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and leaders of the Hamas militant group as well.
She was completely independent. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Just because she's Lebanese and Hamas does operate out of Lebanon and other countries in the area doesn't mean that she is in support of Hamas. So obviously she's focused on the right thing. Yeah. So I think she has done a lot for humanity over the last 20 or 30 years since she's been practicing law, and I just wanted to give her a massive shout out for what she's done, because she is listening. She does listen to this podcast.
Of course she does.
So it's quite important to recognize these people, because they do such great work for the little people and people who don't have a voice.
No, I think you're 100% right, Wencee. It's beautifully done. Amal Clooney is a force of nature. She is phenomenal. There's so many great human rights lawyers. Jeffrey Robinson's another one.
That's right.
And they do a thankless task, because most human rights lawyers, they earn a pretty good living, but nothing to what they could earn. Like they could earn probably 10 times more than what they earn. So they're not doing it for the money. If people think they are, they're completely incorrect, because some of the stuff that they deal with is pretty hairy, when you've got people on death row and all these sort of things. So
just goes to show the morals and values that these people have, which is great. It's not about the money.
Absolutely, absolutely. And someone else with fantastic morals and values is MacKenzie Scott. Now, you may or may not know that name, but she was Mackenzie Tuttle. April 7, 1970, when she was born. So she's a tad younger than I am. And she was born in San Francisco. And she developed a passion for writing. And she got a bachelor's degree in English from Princeton University in 92. And she studied under the Nobel laureate Toni Morrison. After she went to college, she worked as a research assistant for Morrison's novel. And at that time, that's where she met Jeff Bezos.
Ah, Jeff Bezos.
And
the
they
penis
married.
rocket man.
Yes, the penis rocket man. They married the penis rocket man.
It's the theme for tonight. I know.
It definitely 100% is. They married in 1993 and they moved to Seattle in 94. And that's when he founded Amazon with Scott's support. She played a significant role in Amazon's early development before shifting her focus to her family and writing. That makes a lot of sense to me because, I mean, you've got to start somewhere. And he started out of his garage. And so therefore she would have been assisting with everything and trying to help bring the bickies in, etc. I mean, it wasn't like Bezos was totally poor when he started. He was a day trader. So, you know.
There you go, yeah. So he knew what he was doing, I guess.
He was a stock market sort of dude, yeah. So anyway, she had a literary career. She still does. But her first debut novel was in 2005. And it won an American Book Award in 2006. And her second novel, Traps, was released in 2013. Did have positive reviews, but apparently it didn't sell that high. But they had 4 children together, Jeff and herself. They divorced in 2019, and this is where it gets interesting. So with Scott receiving $35.6 billion in Amazon stock, yeah, absolutely. It made her the 3rd wealthiest woman in America. Sorry, in the world. In the world. She later changed her name to MacKenzie Scott and remarried Dan Jewett, a science teacher, in 2021. They divorced in 2023. I think she should stay single.
Wow.
No, because she doesn't need anyone, so you know she can do whatever she wants, I think. But anyway, one of the biggest things that she has done with her wealth, I've got a whole list actually. You were talking about women that are just people in general, and in this case, Amal Clooney, just doing so much for society, etc., putting themselves out there. Well, she's the same. So MacKenzie Scott is a prominent philanthropist. She's committed to giving away most of her wealth, which is what Warren Buffett has said he is going to do. I think he's been giving away most of his for quite a long time now. I'll have to do a thing on Warren Buffett one time because, gee whiz, I wonder how old he is. He's got to be.
He's getting long in the tooth, isn't he?
Well, he's got to be, because I remember the first time I ever heard of him and I saw him and I thought, geez, he's old. And that was the first time I ever heard of him. And that's like 20 or 30 years on. So,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe he's cryogenically frozen or something. I'm not sure, but still trading. I don't know how it works. But anyway, she signed the Giving Pledge in 2019 and she's donated over $17 billion to more than $17 billion to more than 1,600 organizations. 1,600 organizations as of 2024. Wow. She also just gave $50 million to Kamala Harris's campaign.
Wow, okay.
Her philanthropic focus includes racial, gender equity, climate change, and education. And she's donated to a wide range of organizations. I have a little list of, just to give you a bit of an idea of who she is. So Habitat for Humanity, you would have heard of that one, $436 million. Planned Parenthood, $275 million. Big Brothers Big Sisters of America, that's a really big charity in America, $122.6 million. Girl Scouts of the USA, $84.5 million. Association for Women's Rights in Development, 15. So these ones are going down a little bit. But California Community Foundation received 2 Beverly Hills homes worth $55 million intended to fund affordable housing and immigrant integration programs.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, she is. She's absolutely incredible. So, and that just reflects a focus on addressing the systemic inequities and sort of obviously the life that she's had with Jeff Bezos. She's decided that she wants to put it to good use. So
that's good. Yeah.
Good on her. I think it's absolutely magnificent. So she's been recognized for her influence and wealth and been named the world's most powerful woman by the Forbes magazine in 2021 and was one of Time's 100 most influential people in 2020. Her philanthropic efforts have been lauded for challenging traditional models and placing emphasis on the impact of donations.
Emphasis.
Rather than the donor's recognition. So I just think that's fantastic. And I think that both of those in particular totally deserve.
Oh, they absolutely do. Absolutely. Well done. And it goes back to what I discussed a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember exactly when, but with the Patriot Millionaires, where they're looking at getting some more equity into society, equal taxes and things like that. So it's great that it's great that we got people like this who do put back into society what privileges they do have.
Absolutely. When you've got that sort of amount of funds and you're able to fund it into philanthropic organizations and do the amount of good that they can, just to stick it up. Yeah, that's exactly right. Beautifully done. Absolutely.
That's a comment from GI who said,
just to stick it up, Jeff.
Yeah. Good old Jeff. Poor old Jeffrey Bezos.
Yes, poor old Jeff. I'm not even going to give him a sound because he doesn't deserve one, but I mean, there is that one. But,
and just to go, just to answer your question about Warren Buffett, he's 93.
Oh, see, I told you. That's freaking old. Yeah, we're going to have to, I think maybe when we do Econobabble. Actually, talking about Econobabble, I got in touch with Maria Taflaga, a political scientist who has been on Democracy Sausage a couple of times this year. Not many, because we know that she's had a new bub. And hello to you, Maria, if you're listening. I've been in contact, so I'm hoping that she gets back in touch with me. And we can get her on the show again because we've missed her.
Yeah, it's always great having her on. She's so informative.
She is indeed. And we'll be coming up to 200 soon. So hopefully we should see Dan Illick since he's now back in the country from the US. I'm not really sure what that's all about.
Yeah, I don't know.
But before we do, we need to do this.
Nothing hurts my soul more than getting a bunch of money from paid sponsorship. Cash for comment. I love it. Speaking of cash, have you tried the new Cash app? Send and receive money from anyone instantly with the Cash app. Oh, God. Say you want to get $10,000 from Valvoline just for mentioning the word Valvoline. Just give them your Cash app username and they can send it to you immediately. No questions asked. Download the Cash app today. Valvoline.
Now I have to find. Well, hey. There we go. Sports of all sorts, which I have nicked that a little bit because years ago when I did a radio show with some fantastic people, GI being one of them, and Funky being another. I was going to ask,
was it GI?
They had that. They had that as, yes. It was GI, and they had that as their segment, Sports of All Sorts, and it was a cracker. They had an absolute brilliant segment, and they had some really good guests on it, etc. So I thought it was always good to bring it back to this potty. And with that being said, tonight on Sports of All Sorts, which you haven't done for quite a while, which is quite nice, we are focusing on the Olympics, and not just the Olympics, but maybe some of the sports that you don't think about that often. So tonight I am talking about kayak cross, what it is, who does it, who's good at it, and should you take it up? Apparently,
me.
Yes, well, I would love to if I knew where one of those courses were anywhere near me. That would be really cool. I've got a little show and tell on this as well, so we can have a quick squizzer at the end. I know we're running out of time as usual, so I'll be quite quick on this one. But anyway, kayak cross, also known as extreme slalom. Apparently, it made its Olympic debut at 2024 Paris Summer Games, which is interesting. So. It hasn't been in the Olympics before, but obviously the competitors that do this have been doing kayak cross in world championships and stuff like that, I assume, for quite a long time.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Anyway, the kayak cross course features a series of gates, and you'll see this when the show and tell pops up, and the show and tell will be in the show notes as well, which competitors must navigate, and obstacles like ramps or jumps that add to the challenge. The course layout encourages direct head-to-head racing, which you will see. The equipment kayaks used in kayaks across are shorter and more maneuverable than those in traditional slalom, allowing athletes to make quick turns and adjustments. They are very, very small. But the people doing this sport are super strong. They've got to be really, really strong in the core. You'll understand why when you see it in a minute, you'll totally see that. The venue for the kayak cross at the Paris 2024 Olympics is at the Vers-sur-Marne Nautical Stadium, which has been upgraded to host the Olympic canoeing and rowing events. The inclusion of kayak cross in the Olympics highlights the sport's growing popularity and the desire to introduce more thrilling, spectator-friendly events into the Olympic program. Yeah, I mean, there's a debut of breakdance as well. I haven't seen any of that yet. And
I think it's later this week or tonight. It's one of these. Soon. It's happening soon. So
beautiful. Well, we'll keep an eye on that. And we'll probably talk about it in Blurt Around the World maybe next week when we get a little bit more information about it. Because the Paralympics will be on soon, won't they? According to
2 weeks after the end of this one, so towards the end of August.
Yeah, it was interesting because I had this conversation with Ness the other day, and she did the Commonwealth Games in 2006. She was a big part of the administration of that Games. And in Melbourne. And she was saying that the Paralympics, she was always under the impression that they integrated them in the existing Olympics. So it was interesting that you said that the Paralympics 2 weeks after. So
yeah, it's about 2 weeks after. Yeah, there's always a break. Yeah.
All right.
It's a shame because I'm hoping sometime in the future there'll be a crossover where the Paralympians will be competing during the able-bodied Olympics and then carry on, and hopefully maybe one day they'll merge. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, no, absolutely.
I don't know how that's going to work.
No, it'd be good if that did happen. But anyway, at the 2024 Paris Olympics, Australia's done actually really well. The girls in particular, the Fox family, Naomi Fox and Jessica Fox, have both won gold medals in this sport, which is pretty amazing. And Jessica Fox, renowned figure in the sport already, won 2 gold medals, one in the women's canoe single and another in the women's kayak single. And Naomi Fox, who we will see in a minute, is a younger sister. She secured her first Olympic gold medal in the women's kayak cross event, which was making its debut at the Paris Games. This win not only marked a significant personal achievement for Naomi, but also completed a perfect gold medal sweep for the Fox family. The women's canoe slalom events at these. So not bad. They brought, in one family, they brought 3 gold medals. That's just nuts. That's absolutely crazy.
It was a shame that Jess and Naomi competed in one of the heats for this sport that you're talking about, the kayak cross. I think it was yesterday or the day before. They competed against each other and Naomi beat her.
Yeah, she beat her, and she's the younger
Yeah.
sister too. So how's
Yeah.
that going? I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. That's pretty awesome. Anyway, so I've got a nice little show and tell on this. So just sit back and watch Naomi do her stuff.
In the red bib from Australia, younger.
Yeah, because the other one's got stuck sort of behind a bit. So I thought that was pretty cool. So
it's unfortunate that those sports, the interesting ones, have been right in the middle of the night, like 2 a.m., 4 a.m. when we're sleeping.
Yeah.
The 100-meter sprint was around that time as well. A couple of days ago, it was like, no, I'm sleeping. It's not fair.
Yeah, no, that's right. But Channel 9's doing a lot of replays, so it's all good.
Excellent. So you're done with that sport? You got any more for that, or?
No.
Okay, all right. So mine's going to be pole vaulting. It has had a bit of a resurgence the last few days. It's been in the news. It's gone viral. There's been a bit of controversy. The title of the show was mainly derived from this French pole vaulter by the name of Anthony Amirati, who you may or may not have seen recently. I'll just show you the video. I'm just going to cut over to the video. All right, can we see that?
All right, so yes, we can. Ready to go.
Okay, I'm going to press play, and let's see if he makes the cut or not.
Okay. The cut could be the problem.
Oh, the jewels got in the way. So so poor Anthony Amirati, French competitor. Unfortunately, he got a bit too cocky on his jump and hit the bar with his bar and got disqualified, unfortunately. It's funny and not funny at the same time because you work so hard to get to the Olympics. But it did go viral. He's had lots of offers from women, apparently. But he's taken it in good stride and accepted what's happened, obviously. But yeah, quite funny, I thought. And yes, so I had to bring that up.
It was a shame. It was a shame because he was in pole position.
Yeah, he was. Oh no, the jokes could keep going, but
where's GI when you need him? Where's GI when you need him? He would have come up with some nice ones by now.
Yeah. So the other pole vaulter I'm going to talk about is Amal Duplantis. He's a Swedish-American pole vaulter who is just is going to take over. Didn't know his name before. He was a famous. Is it Sergei
Yes, Sergei Bubka. Sergei Bubka.
That's it. Yeah. So he was one of the goats, and I think Amal Duplantis is going to overtake him real quick. Aman's broken 10 world records. He owns the last 10 world records.
I thought you were going to say at least one penis.
No, let's hope not. He does want to get shafted, surely. Sorry, shouldn't have said that while you're having a drink.
It's all right.
All right, I'm going to play one of his jumps just before he won the gold and the world record.
Who leaps this at playtime, and that's
so
exactly
easy.
what he does.
He did that easy.
So as you would expect, the world record holder, it's very rare that he makes mistakes at these lower heights.
Jesus.
Have a look at that running, Steve. It's just textbook stuff. There's nothing that's not going directly in the right direction. And
nothing not in your face. That's exactly right.
You're right about the running, and the pole is trying to pull you off centre. And so
Look
for
at that,
him
it's
to be able
almost
to have
half
the
a metre
strength
above.
and coordination to be able to keep that running dead
Oh,
down the
okay,
centre.
28.
That's a testament to how much speed capacity he's got. This is showing us he's got maximum height over the bar of 28 centimetres. Add that onto your 585, and that's a serious.
So that's that one, and then this is the world record breaking jump.
Oh, beautiful.
Defended his title. Final attempt at the world record height of 625. Fly, fly, fly! He's done it!
That's just amazing.
He did it
He
easy.
flew high in the
So
blue
easy.
sky.
Look, if it wasn't for his arm, he had another. I reckon he's got another couple of centimetres in him for sure.
Gives his girlfriend a hug.
I've been hearing
Dave,
and
to
reading
me,
that they
Gravity
think
looks
that he
like
might
it just
even break
works a little bit
640
different
in the near
for
future.
Mondo Duplantis.
He's just
He
that
just turns
good.
it down a little bit on those last attempts. And I'm just standing here looking across the stadium at a bar at 6 metres 25 and it's still in the air after a human went over it. It's phenomenal.
And I think
That's crazy, isn't it? That's nuts.
and I think he'd already won the medal. He just went, right, I'm
Yeah.
going to
Get
go
the
even
medal.
higher
I'm
and
gonna
just,
yeah.
go even better than everyone else.
Why
So,
not?
yes, that's
it's all
been
about.
great news. We've also got Nina Kennedy, who's the Australian world champion, who goes up, I think it's 8th of August. She competes for gold. So fingers crossed. I'll be hoping she gets it, and as the rest of Australia will, that
Did
she
you
can
say
win the gold.
Australian? We have an Australian that does pole vaults.
Correct.
And she wins gold medals.
She has won gold medals, and
God.
where is she? So nowhere near as high as Armand, but in the heats just overnight, she and others cleared 4 meters 55 centimeters. So still a metre and a half, almost 2 meters short of the men's. But yes, so there'll be quite a number of them competing on Thursday morning, our time. And with a bit of luck, she clears all the heights, all the jumps in her category. So with a bit of luck, yes, we'll bring more gold towards the end of the week.
That is pretty damn cool. What isn't so cool is I have lost all audio this end, and my audio app is not playing ball. So
that's not good.
I'll
so we don't have our outro.
Well, that's what I'm just trying to see. How we go. I got it back.
Oh, there we go. I can hear it. It was just being difficult.
It was just having a bit of a heart attack. Yes, it was just being a bit of a heart attack in the background. Look, that's your show tonight, people. We have had an absolute fabulous time. It's been a bit of a stickler of a show, I suppose you could say. But we have enjoyed it immensely, and I hope you have too. So anything that you want to know about the Olympics when it comes to the pole vaulting or it comes to kayak cross, we will have all the information in the show notes as usual. And we will be back here around about the same time, 8 p.m.-ish next week.
Yes.
And we'll have Joke of the Week next week as well.
Yay. And we'll give you a quick wrap-up of where Australia finished in the Olympics, hopefully, because we're in 4th position at the moment, so we're doing pretty well.
That is very, very true. Top 5 in the world with a country of only 25 million people. That's not a bad effort at all. That's
right.
So go, Aussie, go. And especially the women, because the women are just killing it in the Olympics. They're doing a fantastic job. So they really are. But anyway, that's us out. That's me out. See you next week. Thanks always, Wencee. Fantastic work. And I will see you very, very soon.
Love your work. Always fun. We'll see you next week. Bye.